Hey guys, in this episode, gonna get into some more advanced things, such as aggregate expenditures. Ooh, let's write that down. Aggregate expenditures. For those of you with a high vocabulary, you probably already understand what this means. Aggregate means all, and expenditures obviously means your purchases and your costs. So, aggregate expenditures means all the purchases. So, let's go back to GDP. GDP equals C plus I plus G plus NX. Consumption plus investment plus government spending plus net exports. So aggregate expenditures means all these combined. So basically GDP. But let's look at it at a smaller scale. Let's talk about the aggregate expenditures of one person. Let's look at their chart. So this is going to be the aggregate expenditure model. Okay, it'll always look like this. This is called the break-even line. It's gonna be a 45-degree angle. Next, you can have several lines. First, they'll always start on the y-axis and go something like this, curving upward. So if this was from the government viewpoint or from the national viewpoint, this would be C, and then it would be C plus I, and then it would be C plus I plus G. But since we're going to talk about from a regular person standpoint, we're going to remove the top line, which includes government spending, because there's no government spending in this case. So look at this. This will be our consumption. So let's assume our income, well, it is. Our income right here is 0, because that's on the x-axis, that's 0. Let's assume our consumption when we have absolute 0 income is 50. And let's look at that. So how is it that we can spend $50 when we actually have absolutely no income? Well, that's called autonomous expenditures. It's things you have to pay for regardless of your income, whether you have income, whether you don't, whether it's high or whether it's lower, like the phone bill. You have to pay every month for your phone, regardless of your income. You have to pay your mortgage, you have to pay your loans. That's how it works. It's things you always have to keep paying back, regardless of your income. So, a common AP exam question would be, what's the autonomous expenditures? And they'll give you a graph that looks like this. All you have to do is look at this value here, that's right there where on the x-axis wherever your income is 0. So, if the x-axis displays income, let's look at this point where the break-even line intersects the consumption line. And let's say our income at that point is 100, and where C plus I intersects the break-even line, our income is 200. Okay, so look at this. Look at this area here. Obviously, if we have 0 income and we're spending $50, income minus 50 equals negative 50. We're losing $50. So when we're earning less than 0, that's called dis-savings. When we're earning greater than 0, it's called savings. And when it's equal to 0, it's called breaking even. It means you're not losing money, you're not gaining money, and savings is obviously gaining money, and dis-savings is losing money. So where does this dis-savings or losing money change to savings? Well, this 45-degree line, the break-even line, that's our rising income. And the C line is our rising consumption, because as we have more income, we're going to spend more. So, look at this. Since this right here is our income line, the break-even line, where it intersects the consumption line, this entire area right here, that's the dis-savings, because we consume more than we earn. Right here, though, this little point right here, that's, my bad, this little point right here where the 100 is the bottom, where we earn 100, that's where we break even right there. That's when our consumption and our income's finally even. Now, everything above this point, everything above this line, everything above that is savings, because now you're earning more than you're spending in consumption. So now let's look at this. C plus I, consumption plus investment. Let's say investment is 100. Okay, so if investment's 100, if consumption plus investment is equal to 100, then what does investment equal? Well, all you have to do is take the C plus I value, 100, minus the consumption value, and that'll give you the investment value of 50. So another AP question you might see is, what is put in investment? So that's how you'll find it out. It's just also basic algebra again, like we were doing before. So now this relates back to the multiplier effect. Let's look at this. Originally, let's say we were only consuming. So we were consuming right here at this $50. And then let's say we invested that other $50. So we're over here now, consumption plus investment. And that $50 moved us from $100 to $200. Now why is that? Because look, the break-even line is our income. Where it intersects the consumption line, when you move down and go to this 100, that's how much we're earning when we're only consuming at that $50 margin line. However, when we're also investing that $50, this right here, where the consumption plus investment intersects the break-even line, we go down and that's where we see our income. Also, you might see this as output, because when output increases, so does employment and obviously income for citizens and workers. So we increased this by 50, and down here this increased by 100. So let's go look at that. By spending $50 spent, we made a $100 effect. I always forget the 1. Okay, so 100 divided by 50, 2. We have a 2-time multiplier. So that's another question you might see for that, to identify the multiplier. And all you're going to do to get that is find the change in our spending on the y-axis and find the change in our output, income, aggregate expenditures over here. Now over here on the y-axis, this will be labeled as aggregate expenditures, the total spending. Because remember, the total spending is everything we're spending, aggregate expenditures is everything we're spending. So that would be, in this case, where it's the only C line, it would be just consumption. If we added investment to that, it would be C plus I, and that would just be our aggregate expenditures. It's everything we're spending. So this is the aggregate expenditure model, the Keynesian aggregate expenditure model. Pretty simple concept. Check out the notes, check out the reviews, and see you next time.